let's talk about conditionals. Before we do that, though, I want to tell you about the input function. So this is how you can get input from the console. So if I run the program here, it displays type a number, which is the prompt, and then whatever I type is what gets assigned to num. I've typed 4. The data type for this is not actually an int, however. Let's see what it is. So if I run it, it says string. So if I wanted to do math with this, for example, I could just wrap this inside int if I wanted to, and that would take the output and convert it to a number. So now when I run it and I say 6, it says class int. Okay, so let's look at the basic syntax for an if, else chain. So I can say if num equals, or let's say if num bigger than 10, and then you use a colon to declare a block. Let's say print, let's use a formatted string. We'll say num larger than 10, and then let's say else, and then another colon to declare a block. So num not larger than 10. Okay, so you'll notice no semicolons. These are inside the if statement because they're indented, and the colon is what lets the interpreter know that we're declaring a block. So I'll run the code now. What has happened? Oh, I didn't close my string. Okay. So I'll type a number, 3 not larger than 10. Run it, 11 larger than 10. Let's do an else, okay? So, or an else if. So if num is larger than 10, in Java you say else if. In Python you say elif. And you can tell that this is being recognized because it's highlighting in blue. So we'll say elif num is less than 0, num is negative, else print just right. Okay, and you can, and just like in Java, you can have chains, so you can have as many elifs as you want in a chain here. So this all sort of looks, so since it says just right if my number is between 0 and 10, maybe what I'm really trying to do here is test to see if the number's in that range. Python lets you do the thing that maybe you wanted to do ever since you first started programming in Java. You can chain together these inequalities. So you can say if 0 is less than num is less than 10. And this will work. So here I type 3 and it says 3 is in range. Let's do some examples that aren't numerical. So let's say type a word, and I'll call this word. So you can use the in operator. I can ask if the letter E is in the word word. Like this. So now if I type hello, it doesn't display anything. And if I type hello, it says has an E. In Python, if you want to do a logical negation, you can use the word not. So in Java, usually you would say something like, if it's not the case that something, like this. Does this work in Python? Nope. However, if you type the word not, that will be the logical negation. So I do expect this one to work. So hello is nothing, and then hello has an E. Well, let's say it doesn't have an E now. However, you don't actually have to put the logical negation at the very beginning in Python. You can express it in an order that is more natural for English. So if E not in word, and so now hello, and it says doesn't have an E. Well, doesn't an E. Similarly, for other logical connectives, so I can say if A in word and E in word. That will test for both as A and E. Hello. So that works. And then, as you might have guessed, instead of and, you could also use the word or for the logical or. Before we leave if statements, let me say about this in operator that it also works for lists. So if I said a equals, and then I've got a list of things, I could also say, like, if 3 in my list, and that will also do what it appears that it should do. Okay, sorry, for real, one actually last thing. Python also has something like Java's ternary operator. If you don't know about the ternary operator, let me just describe it this way. So if you have an if-else statement whose only purpose is to assign a different value to a variable, like in this case, so if age is greater than 18, we'll say yes, otherwise we'll say no. Python offers a very succinct syntax for doing the same thing. You can say message equals yes if age is greater than 18, otherwise no. And so this line is doing the exact same thing as these, only it's just all on one line. So let's say age equals int input type your age, and then we can say print message. And my age is 30 something. Yes.